Thanks so much, Ewan. Well, yes, social media, as we all know it, is for our personal updates, whether it is about our food that we eat or letting our friends know where we are, letting them know how jealous they should be of our lifestyles, or just interesting things that we do out there. But is social media enough to make the difference between either winning or losing an election? Well, they reckon before the end of this year, 1 in 3 people will be using social media, and that involves all of us. Well, with us in our studio this morning, we have social media guru and also U.S. President Barack Obama's former director of digital strategy at the White House. Mr. Macon Phillips, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
It's an honor to have you here, knowing that social media and also you were part of the campaign when it comes to Barack Obama. And also you essentially wrote the rule book. When it comes to social media, how has it changed the landscape in terms of politics, participating in an election, also the campaign?
Well, it's changed it quite a lot, and I think it's fair to say it's accelerated everything. There's a lot more noise and information out there. It's harder to break through. But ultimately, it's also given more people an opportunity to participate, to drive the conversation, to connect with one another, and ultimately given people more power.
I want to say that the average Joe, people at home, the housewives, even our kids at school have access to so much more because of social media. I mean, now we have access to brands, people, politicians. I can tweet you at Macon44. I can tweet Obama, essentially. I can have access to all these things. Is it still relevant for most people if they decide not to partake in social media? Also, let's say they aren't. How should one approach this digital revolution?
That's a great question. I think for anyone, it's really up to how much they want to be engaged. But these days, it's hard to miss the issues because they're everywhere. And that's part of what's really cool about social media is issues big and small can be brought to the public debate. People share what they care about with their friends rather than just watching it on the TV news. So I think everyone watching probably knows that they can turn off the TV, but they can't really turn off Facebook.
I know that you worked with the White House. It's one of the many amazing jobs that you had. I actually drooled about Macon CV earlier, just knowing what he has done. But I know that one of the amazing projects that you do that involves South African youth is your Yali network that you have. Now, the Yali network is the umbrella, but you have a whole host of things that are under that. Tell me more about the project and also the 50 South Africans that's about to meet Barack Obama.
Well, this is super exciting, and it is why I'm here. It's really wonderful to be here in South Africa. This is my second time, but my first time here in Cape Town.
Welcome.
The reason I'm here is because of the Young African Leaders Initiative. President Obama started this a few years ago, and it's a number of things, but the thing people need to know right now is that they can apply to be a Washington Mandela Fellow. What that means is they can go to yali.state.gov, yali.state.gov, anytime before November 11th and apply. We're going to bring 1,000 young African leaders from across the continent to the United States for 6 weeks to study at some of the United States' best institutions, and then they're going to come to Washington and meet Barack Obama himself at a town hall. It's an amazing program. We already have a number of alumni of this program who I'm going to meet later this week. And I got to say, it's inspiring to me personally to meet some of the amazing leaders here in South Africa and across the region.
Being involved in foreign affairs, I mean, what's the coolest part of your job apart from tweeting with Obama?
I think the coolest part of my job is to see how people are taking these tools, these amazing tools that are happening just in our lifetime, just in the last 10 years, and using them in different ways. Some places I go, really it's just phones is how people access the internet. Other places they have faster internet than the United States. And to really see how people make these tools work for their own lives, make these tools work to connect with one another, and ultimately change things for the better is inspiring.
Well, it's an honor having you here, and you can come back to Cape Town and South Africa anytime again. Macon Phillips in our studio this morning, and if you want to follow him, Macon44. I actually just tweeted him with the most amazing picture ever because we look so good in our selfie. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Macon, thanks so much again. Yali Project, that's what you need to look out for. And of course, details are always on our Facebook page if you want to connect. Expresso Morning Show, SABC3. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Gray, what's coming up?